So I think we're online now. We've got a few minutes before we actually start officially. Hopefully a few people are here now. I can see one or two already in. Let's give you all a few moments. So I'll be starting at 4 o'clock, as we said. A few people steadily coming into the webinar at the moment. So let me give you all a few moments to settle down. And I'll be back with you in a moment. Hi there, and thanks for joining this webinar. I'll start, just give it another couple of moments. There's a couple of other people just coming on to the webinar at the moment. So give you a few seconds to settle down. And it looks as if most people are connected now. So I'm going to start. Let me switch over and just greet you nicely. Yep, it looks as if most people are here now. Fantastic. Thanks for joining me on this webinar. Just a couple of quick housekeeping items before we kick off. You should all be able to see the video conference screen. It should have a video of myself, John Kenworthy, and at the moment it should be showing a picture-in-picture of the presentation that I'll be switching to in full in a little moment. You should all be muted on both audio and video. And if you've never used a Google Hangout on air before, let me warn you that there is a delay in what I am saying and when you receive the stream from Google. That is, this isn't quite in real time. There can be a delay of up to about 2 minutes, depending on which Google server you've connected to and your internet connection speed. With this in mind, please ask questions in the chat box. During this webinar, I'm going to be sharing about the Forging Success program for about 45 minutes in total. There's quite a lot I'm going to be covering, and I know that many of you will have questions. So if I can ask you, type your questions into the chat box anytime during the webinar. I will attempt to answer all your questions at the end of the webinar, and if I don't manage that, I will follow up with you via email. You can send your questions privately to me or publicly. That's up to you to choose which way you want to do that. Okay, let me switch over to the presentation now, and you should be able to see that in just a few seconds. Welcome to the Forging Success webinar. My name is Dr. John Kenworthy, and I have the pleasure of being your guide through your journey to achieve your success. Now, 5 years ago, I came to a very sad realization. I'd been in business about 16 years by then. Some years business was good, a few it was great, and more than I liked, it was not good. Why would that be? Well, the previous year I had completed my doctorate, a feat that had made me extremely happy. It had been a long and difficult process, and the result was really very, very good. And that's not me saying that, was respected academics from some of the finest universities in the world. What upset me was that since finishing my doctorate, I had essentially stopped moving forward in my own life, my own development, and my own achievements. I'd had great intentions and a list of new goals and a to-do list that was, well, still a to-do list a whole year later. I thought that I'd lost my mojo. You see, I'd set out on my doctoral journey. Incidentally, the date is firmly etched in my memory. It was September 11th, 2001. Not a day anyone is likely to forget. This journey was a serious stretch for me, intellectually and work-wise. But I got myself organised, learnt from the very best people, and dedicated myself to do the research, the work, the rewrites, the edits, the rewrites, ad nauseum, until that fantastic September morning 4 years later, I couriered off my final thesis. All of this, by the way, whilst running my business, teaching, coaching, and training. So why, after 1 year of completing, for me, one of the most challenging periods of my life, was I now just not getting things done? So I reflected on that lost year, and after beating myself up for more than long enough, I realized something. I needed to stretch myself again, get some new clear goals and work a plan to achieving them. All the time with a clear vision and purpose. I moved on goals in my business, my development, my home life, and my spiritual life. And I revisit and focus on those plans every month and 3 months and every year. All the time, the clear vision and purpose to be a lighthouse, guiding and challenging you to go beyond yourself and achieve sustainable success. And I want to do that for 1 million people. That's it. Everything else must align to that purpose. I still have a very big to-do list. I always will have, because each time I achieve one major goal, something else gets added. My last major goal was to publish my book, What's Better Today? That was done on the 15th of January 2013. At that point, I gave myself a new goal. Within 1 year, I would launch a radically new online learning platform with Forging Success as the first of 6 programs. Well, it's about a year later, and that's together with growing our business by 50%, doubling the number of professional leadership caddies we have certified, becoming certified myself in using the coaching game tools, remaining happily married, exercising 3 times a week, and growing closer with my walk with God. Now, I believe is the right time to launch this program so that you can achieve all you want to. I've called this program Forging Success because, as with forging a sharp sword, you'll need to work with fire and a hammer. It's not a silver bullet, it's not a quick fix, it's not a miracle pill that you're about to experience. It does require you to work, and the rewards, well, That's your success. Now, during this 45-minute webinar, I'm going to share with you my proven 9-part formula for setting no-fail goals for your success that you will achieve. I'll briefly share the key ingredient for experiencing happiness and how you can harness its power through effective goal setting. The 2 things that you can do to ensure that you create the necessary breakthroughs that will lead to your dramatic transformation. How you can quickly identify where you've been getting stuck and what's been holding you back. And I'll explain why you should join this program. And you can join this online program now for free during this private beta period. And I'll make you a very special offer later to work with your very own professional leadership caddy who will support you, guide you, and if needed, nag you to guarantee your success in this endeavour. So, this extra special offer is only going to be available during this webinar. There are many more ways to set goals than I can shake a stick at. They all probably work. I happen to use SMART goal setting, a very common acronym for goal setting. But the goal setting part is easy. Anyone can set goals. The less easy part is accomplishing your goals. You can blame it on goal setting, of course. It's too stretching. The constant lament of every corporate salesperson I've ever met. Blame the goal, blame the boss, blame the economy. There will always be obstacles in the way of your goals. If there weren't, wouldn't you have achieved them already? Now, perhaps you've made New Year's resolutions. You know that less than half of the New Year's resolutions made are kept after 6 months. Heck, a quarter of people who set themselves perfectly laudable goals at the beginning of the year quit on them in the first week alone. Oh, my apologies. I flipped over there. So, but what about more serious goal setting? Well, according to research at Statistic Brain, some 34% of the world's population between ages 18 and 80 have set themselves clear goals, using SMART or similar acronyms to set them. That's a whole huge number of goals out there. Yet, just 14% of those people are on track with their own goals by the end of the first year. And just 8% are still on track after 10 years. It would seem that the odds of success are not in your favour. But that's just statistics. What about you? Now, have you set a goal for yourself in the past? It might have been a New Year's resolution to get fit, lose weight, quit smoking, or something else. Perhaps you set yourself a career goal or an education goal. Did you achieve that goal? If you did, how did it feel to achieve that goal? If you didn't achieve it, how did that feel? Were you happier after you had achieved your goal, or were you happier as you were making progress towards that goal? And if you quit on your goal, were you happier when you had quit your goal or as you were making progress towards it, presuming that you stuck at it long enough to notice? It's interesting, isn't it? You probably felt happier as you made progress towards achieving your goal than once you had achieved it. And I come back to that in a moment. There are two main excuses, just two main reasons that people give up on achieving their own success. 37% of people give up because they find it too hard for them to get the breakthroughs they needed. 55% of people give up because they were too scared to make their breakthrough. Between the two, fear is the #1 reason most people don't get a breakthrough. They fear working hard, they fear what might happen. Why? Because the people who complain that it is too hard are fearful of the hard work. And we overcome and conquer fear by deliberately and consciously changing our mind and choosing to do something with fear. Fear is actually the result of your amygdala, an almond-shaped part of your limbic brain triggering the release of cortisol and norepinephrine or adrenaline. Your personal experiences in life determine what causes your amygdala to trigger cortisol and how much. Your earliest years of life imprint the foundation of all the fears in later life. If the first 2 years of your life were in a secure, loving home, then you are usually less fearful in later life. On the other hand, a lack of security and a less than loving home tends to mean more fears later in life. By the age of 3, just 3 years old, you had about 1,000 trillion synapses in your brain. Thereafter, your synapses and neurons are radically pruned. Those unused neurons are pruned away. By your adolescence, you had pruned about half of your synapses and neurons. And you continue to prune neurons, but there is also some very good news. You grow new neurons too. Nothing like as many as when you were 3 years old, but you can replace neurons and you can generate new neurons. Indeed, when you learn something new and repeat the use of that knowledge or behavior, you will be creating new neuronal connections. So yes, you can blame your parents for some of your fears. However, just because they had a large role in forming who you are today does not mean that they keep responsibility. That has been delegated to you. So how to be one of the 8% who sees their success through? You need to turn the odds back into your favor. Neurons and synapses in our brain die, but I've got some super good news for you. And this is one of the most exciting findings of neuroscience research in recent years. You and I have 2 big things working for us: neuroplasticity and neurogenesis. Romans 2:12 tells you that you can change your mind, and neuroscience is now finding that this is true. Neuroplasticity is when something is plastic, it means that it can change. Whereas genesis means that it can be created. You can and regularly do rewire your brain. What we want to do is rewire your brain by changing your thinking deliberately, consciously, and in a planned manner that supports your success instead of undermining it. Rewire your thinking so that you can forge success rather than fudge it. So why do I tell you this? Well, you have a choice. You can choose to be held captive by your past, or you can open the cage and let yourself free. And it is a choice. It is your choice. No one else will choose to set you free. In fact, most people want to keep you where you are. It makes them look better and exerts control over you. I want you to know that the resistance you are about to face is in your brain. You may face resistance from other people, but the biggest resistance is you and your brain. I believe that if you understand how you respond to challenges in your default mode, your unthinking mode, then you are equipped to develop new habits that enable you to overcome resistance. In other words, we want to generate new connections and allow old default and unwanted behaviors and responses to be pruned. I'm going to start with some knowledge and understanding of three things: being a cause or effect, and your mindset, and how we create habits in the program. All these three are related, and once you know this, you'll be able to change particular habits that you may have that are slowing you down or preventing you from making the shifts that you want to make. For now, we're going to continue looking at what you will find on the program and what you will be learning. So on the Forging Success program, let me transfer to this one. So here's what you're going to learn on the program. You're going to learn how to unlock and harness the massive power of your own brain through effective goal setting. You'll learn how to ensure that you create the necessary breakthroughs that will lead to your dramatic transformation. You'll learn how you can quickly identify why you have been getting stuck and what's been holding you back from achieving the things that matter the most to you. You'll know how to use an exercise that systematically lays the groundwork for your success by thoughtfully examining the previous year and leveraging its lessons to achieve extraordinary results. My proven 9-part formula for setting no-fail goals for your success that you will achieve. You'll get templates for identifying your top 7 to 10 goals and how to know which one to pursue first. And what is the secret of sustaining lasting motivation and momentum, even when the going gets tough and you want to quit? And you'll find the 7 actions you need to take now to guarantee your success. Forging Success is a 9-part course designed to enable you to identify your own success and achieve it. There are 4 zones on the Forging Success journey: the comfort zone line, the get off my butt zone line, the resistance zone line, and the action zone line. It's a journey from wherever you are starting now to identify what is possible for you. Deal with all those things that have stopped you in the past and set crystal clear goals for your future success. How you will keep yourself motivated throughout the journey, however long your journey may be, and how to manage yourself and your time so that you will act on your own plan and achieve the success that you want. This program is not a silver bullet. It's not a no-effort instant solution. Other people may promise you an effortless way and easy way to make it happen. Things like The Secret or The Power of Attraction, and so on and so forth. Well, you've tried those already. And if you have, you already know that it doesn't work like that. This program requires your effort. No one else can do it for you. But I have made it as easy as possible. The formula leverages what we know about the human brain and how to get your brain on side with you and your desires. Strange as it may seem, there are many times when your brain allows you to hold you back. From the research in social cognitive neuroscience, we know today much more about our brains and how they work. We don't know everything by any means, but we do know how to overcome most of our own limitations. Perhaps, for example, you procrastinate. Well, procrastination is a positive thing. At least it is for your brain. If you've ever procrastinated, it's because your brain, and specifically your amygdala, perceives a threat, or your anterior cingulate cortex cannot align the action you intend with the goal and values that you have. Or perhaps you have set a clear goal for yourself in the past, but gave up due to a lack of personal motivation. Was the goal wrong, or the motivation insufficient? By learning my 9-part formula, you'll also learn about your own brain. This will help you understand why you do what you do and what you don't do. I'd love to tell you that it will all make sense, but it's not always something rational. And often it's something that is unconscious or habitual rather than deliberate on your part. And overcoming habits, that is hard, but it can be done, and I'll tell you how. For now, let me share in this webinar a little about the beginning of this journey. I choose the beginning because starting out is the most critical part. Once we have some momentum, continuing on becomes easier. But like a massive train, when it is at rest, the smallest stone in front of the drive wheel can prevent it moving. But once moving, even slowly, that train will break through concrete and steel barriers. Let's talk about success. What is success? Well, success is all about happiness. Happiness is about 4 neurochemicals: dopamine, endorphins, oxytocin, and serotonin. You may or may not have heard about these, but you have certainly experienced their effects. Have you ever felt joyful, elated, supremely happy? That's dopamine. How about that burn when you exercise just a little more? Yes, it hurts a little, but doesn't it feel good? That's endorphins. I trust that you have loved someone. That's oxytocin. And I really hope that you felt trusted or respected. That's serotonin. You see, success is all about being happy. Whether that is a positive feeling from the endorphins because you pushed yourself that little bit harder, or the love you feel for your family, or the respect you get from your team or your boss. Alongside, there will be a certain amount of personal joy. But happiness is not a destination. It's an experience you feel along the way, as you make significant progress towards a goal that is meaningful for you. Remember, I asked you how you felt progressing towards your goal as opposed to against, how you felt once you had achieved it or quit on it. Neuroscience research has shown us that our happy chemicals, particularly dopamine, are more abundant as we move towards the achievement of our goal. Once we've achieved our goal, our happy chemical production reduces. Every step towards your goal, one that is meaningful for you, triggers more dopamine. The good feelings distract you from any bad feelings you may have had. But the day will come when the habit of moving forward towards that particular goal disappoints. The same old reward may fail to mask negative feelings and self-defeating talk, meaning you seek a bigger reward to trigger more dopamine. Hence, you have to stretch yourself continuously, and as you grow out of your comfort zone, stretch it again. During the second module on the program, I'll share with you 3 further reasons that you need to get out of your comfort zone and to achieve your success. For now, I'll just mention that they are to grow as a person, to conquer your fear, and to be able to lead and influence others. In summary, if we want happiness, and achieving success is about your happiness, then we must have goals that we are progressively moving towards, and those goals must be beyond our current comfort zone if they are going to be meaningful for us. To get outside of your comfort zone and to achieve a goal that is worth achieving, you will need to achieve breakthroughs. Breakthroughs that take you outside of your comfort zone, and going outside of your comfort zone is fearful. So what can you do to ensure that you create the necessary breakthroughs that will lead to your dramatic transformation? And we have to conquer two enemies: what if and if only. Each one requires you to do two things. You need to take courage and get off your butt. So let's look at taking courage. Let me share a brief personal story. Here is a picture of La Chavanette at Avoriaz. It's known as the Swiss Wall. It's one of the steepest and most dangerous ski slopes in the world. It is disturbingly steep. It's a mogul run, and the slope gets icy quickly, turning the area between the moguls into ice sheets. Not making a turn in these situations means that you miss the next mogul, pick up too much speed, and you can't make the next one after that. Starting off a tumble ends a couple of 100 meters down the slope, while hitting a few dozen icy bumps on the course. A number of years ago, as a reasonable but by no means good skier, I decided that I just had to conquer this slope. Why? Well, I can only now think that it was a moment of sheer madness. At the time, however, I just wanted to prove to myself that I could do it. And standing at the top of the slope, I looked down the 40 degrees with considerable fear mixed with trepidation. I was going through my own if only and what ifs. I took about 5 minutes to muster up the courage to launch myself off the edge. Now, I'll share the rest of that story in the program, but for now, I just wanted to talk about your brain again. Remember, fear is the #1 issue when it comes to making a personal breakthrough. Fear is something that you feel when your amygdala, the emotional center of your brain, considers that there is a threat to you and signals the production of cortisol. Cortisol floods your bloodstream and informs your heart to beat faster, your lungs to pump faster, your legs and arms to prepare to run or to fight. And since all of this demands energy, your digestive system is shut down. What you feel is warmer. You'll perspire more due to the energy in your muscles and faster heartbeat. You have butterflies in your stomach as the digestive tract is closed for business. Hey, who needs to digest food if you're about to be eaten? Only you're not about to be eaten. It's highly likely that you are not about to die, nor about to get injured. The amygdala response is a primitive and essential trigger for survival, but it is very poor at distinguishing between a real threat to life and limb and one that might possibly hurt your pride. It's the same cortisol-induced response. Your amygdala is essentially like a sentry guard, checking the external environment and your own thinking process for the slightest sign of a threat to you. It is a trigger-happy sentry guard at that, shooting first and asking questions later. Every time you are thinking about stepping outside of your comfort zone, your amygdala is going, what if this? What if that? There is good news. You have a brain. That is much more than your amygdala. You have a neocortex. You are intelligent and can consciously choose to think and choose to override your amygdala. There is a snag. The amygdala has actually already pulled the trigger on cortisol production. Then you can think. It is a deliberate, conscious effort, one that you are perfectly capable of doing. And I know this because I know that you have moved out of your warm bed today. That was a safe place, comfortable too. The world outside, well, it's full of threats. You could get knocked down by a bus, a freak wind could come and blow your house away. You could be struck by lightning. All are possible, yet you still got out of bed this morning. That took courage. And I suspect you've been on an airplane and flown somewhere. Did you know the pilot personally? You probably didn't even see the pilot, and yet you trusted your very life to someone you don't know and haven't even seen. And you're on board a metal tube filled with highly explosive fuel, travelling at 600 miles per hour, some 3 miles above the Earth. You see, you take courage every day, some days more than others. Well, if you can board a plane, you can get a personal breakthrough. Courage, after all, is doing something with fear. If what you are doing is not fearful, it ain't going to be a breakthrough. The second thing you need to do is to get off your butt. Now, I'm not being rude here. This is a butt with a single T, not two. I'm not referring to your backside. I mean, get off your excuses. This is your second breakthrough enemy. If only. If only refers to yesterday. If only the economy was better. If only my boss would recognize my hard work. If only the weather was warmer. If only I hadn't eaten that piece of cake. The variation of if only is the should family. I should have, he should have, she should have, they should. The simple fact of the matter is this: there are things pertaining to your dreams and goals that you are not able to control. Life happens all the time. And you have made mistakes. Actually, I'd just better check here. Is there anyone listening who hasn't ever made a single mistake? Is there anybody out there who is perfect in every way? If there is, what are you doing here? We all do things that we regret, things we should have done, things we shouldn't have done, people we crossed, choices we made. These have happened. These are not excuses. These are opportunities to do something different from now on. So far, I've shared that your success is achieved when you are progressively moving towards the achievement of your goals that are beyond your current comfort zone, so that they stretch you. Your progress towards those breakthrough goals makes you happy. I've shared the fact that you have two enemies to achieving those breakthroughs: if only and what if, and how you take courage and get off your butt to choose to continue on in spite of the fear. Now, for the short introduction, I'm going to share how you can quickly identify where you might get stuck. So, what do we do about it? Well, we need to know what we have gotten stuck by and acknowledge the facts. Yes, maybe you should have done something different, but you didn't. Simply acknowledging this is so. Even if this is someone else's perception and their perception is wrong, it is still their perception, and maybe they shouldn't have that perception, but they do. Harsh? Some of you may think that it is too much, that they really should change, that it isn't you that needs to change, but them. But whether they do or not doesn't matter. Only you can look after you. You may have disappointments or regrets about the past. Acknowledge these. Once we acknowledge our lessons from the past, we can learn from them. Are there any patterns? What would you do differently now, knowing what did happen? And thirdly, we can adjust our behaviour from now on. In the program, I'll take you through a 7-step exercise that will enable you to do this. Identify anything that has been holding you back and consider what you will choose to do from now onwards. In the Forging Success program, we'll start by enabling you to identify your own success, what you can possibly achieve. We'll fully identify the obstacles you've faced in the past and those that you will probably face in the future, so that you know what is possible for you. Then we'll leave the comfort zone line and change to the get off my butt zone line. And remember, this is but with one T, not two. We'll be examining your strengths and weaknesses, making sure that you plan life balance into your success and set crystal clear, smart goals that will allow you to turn to the future with confidence. To ensure that you are pulled along by your vision and purpose, we'll move to the action zone line at this point, lining yourselves up to the real purpose in life for you. I'll share with you an incredibly powerful tool that will take your goals and plant them firmly in your unconscious mind, so that as you develop the right habits to support your new achievement orientation, it becomes almost effortless. Now, there may still be times when you procrastinate, and that's okay. Procrastination is a red flag moment. I'll teach you how to use it to defeat itself. Then in part 8 of this course, we'll make it happen. You'll have a clear plan, a way to manage your time and efforts effectively. The final station on our journey, well, it's a never-ending journey, really. You will put in place the unconscious triggers that will create your new habitual achievement orientation, regularly reviewing where you are on your journey to your success and making the adjustments that are appropriate for you. Oh, and yes, you can change your goals. Of course you can. This is a constantly moving feast. You don't have to wait for a new year or even a new month. But what you will find is that once you have identified your own real purpose in life, your goals and what you do every day will be things that support your purpose. So that's your journey ahead. I cannot promise that it is always going to be an easy ride. In fact, if it's too easy, trust me, those goals are not going to satisfy you. I'm thrilled that you've chosen to come on this journey with me. Remember, I'm here to guide and support you, and if you ever need my help, I'm just an email away. Each module on the program is between 45 and 90 minutes of work. In total, expect to take 7 to 12 hours to complete the program. It's up to you how fast you go, and it differs according to how quickly you can remember some of the things that have happened in your past, or how clear you are currently about your goals. I recommend that you spread the whole program over 4 to 8 weeks. You can go quicker, and you can take longer, but do keep up your momentum. It comes down to this: what side would you like to be on? Would you like to be one of the 8% of people with goals and aspirations who are successful? Or would you rather be one of the 92% who give up along the way? No doubt they have a lot of great excuses for giving up, but they are less than satisfied with their achievements. Do you want to be on that side? You don't have to join my program to forge success, but I and many others who I have shared this with in their personal coaching will testify. My 9-step formula helps a great deal. And when you stick with it, you too will forge your success. Now you should be able to see there how to sign up. There is a button on the page for the webinar. So take a little of that courage now and just join. During this private beta period, you can join the online program for free. There is no monetary cost to you. So why am I giving this away for free? Well, first of all, I'm a nice guy. Second, I need your feedback on the content and on the system. Remember, the method is well established. This way of delivering it is on a brand new platform. There could easily be bugs in the system that we haven't spotted yet, and there's bound to be a few spelling errors. In accepting this program for no cost, you are going to pay us by telling us about any bugs, spelling errors, and the like, and giving feedback on the program itself. When we launch publicly, I'll ask you to recommend your friends, your family, your colleagues, your peers, your business partners and others to join the program, and to share your experience and testimonial with them. By the way, they will need to pay at least $297 to join the online program. Click the button on this page to open a new tab where you can sign up right now. Maybe you're someone who already knows that they will not actually do this unless they are cajoled, pushed, supported, nagged, or harassed. If you've tried doing self-driven development programs before and already know that you're going to need a little push, then just hold on a moment. The online program is launching on February the 14th this year. Now let me tell you about Forging Success Plus. Forging Success Plus is a program that combines my old way of doing this and my new way. Forging Success is a caddy-supported program. You'll still use the online app and you still have to do the work and put in the effort. The difference here is that you get me or one of my certified leadership caddy team to coach and mentor you through the program. We'll take you through the same process, personally guiding you every step of the way and holding you accountable for your progress. We'll guide you through the exercises, sharing our experience and asking you the right questions to help you find your underpinning drivers, your purpose and goals more rapidly than you will by working alone. Normally, I charge individuals $28.80 US, that's 3,600 Singapore dollars for this, but for this private beta period and only for people on this webinar, I am offering this for just 1,880 Singapore dollars, which is 14.75 US dollars, around about 900 UK pounds. Now I'm doing this for only the first 20 people who sign up during this webinar. Forging Success Plus includes 8 45-minute coaching and mentoring sessions with me or one of my team. It's who you want to work with that matters here. In addition, you can message your caddy at any time, perhaps for a quick insight on a particular exercise as you go through it, or you've been having some difficulty with implementing your own action plan. Whatever, we are going to be there to support and guide you. Plus, I'm going to give you my personal guarantee that you will get results when you join Forging Success Plus. If at the end of the first year you are not on track with your goals and you are dissatisfied with your results, I'll give you all your money back. If you know that you would be better working alongside someone who will propel you to success faster, then sign up for Forging Success Plus using the button on this webinar. Only 20 people can sign up for this. You can't really lose. It's almost half the normal price. You get 8 coaching sessions with a professional leadership caddy, all the Forging Success program, and if you don't get your results in the first year, you'll get your money back. Sign up right now to secure this. I'm only keeping this open for the first 20 people on this webinar. Now, I can't promise more than 20 people, not limiting it as a scarcity tactic. It's to make sure that we can look after everybody that does sign up fully and properly so that we can make sure we can give this guarantee. So let me open everything to any questions that you may have. Let me have a look and a scroll through the chat area and see where the questions are. And there are a few at the moment, so let me just pull this over here so that I can see things properly. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Okay, there's a few technical problems and sorry about that. That is very, very strange. Okay. You should have overcome those. There may have been some delay in getting things working from the Google side of things. It's all working on my side. It's all been working fine on the laptop to my right, which is kind of very strange. For those, if you've missed any parts, the replay will be available for you very shortly. Now, in answering some of the other questions here, sorry, let me have some moments, and okay. Some of you did get in, fantastic. When does it start? It's launching in February this year, February the 14th. Yes, it happens to be St. Valentine's Day. That's the online program, yes. How long does it take? Typically, I'd expect you to take about 4 to 5 weeks to complete the program, maybe 2 months. Each module takes you between 45 minutes and 1.5 hours to complete. I highly recommend, by the way, that you work with a buddy. It will help you. Whether that's a coach or whether that's just a good friend. How long do I have access? Okay, thanks for that. You continue to have access to the program and the templates after the program for 2 years. You'll need to revisit the worksheets every time you need to set a new goal. Having completed one, perhaps you'll use it to reprioritize and also to review. The platform is available to you continuously for that 2-year program so that you can do that. After that 2-year period, there will be a nominal fee to maintain access for another year. It's currently $25 US for the year. I'm not anticipating massive inflation in maintaining the platform, but you'll be forewarned of any changes in plenty of time. Someone here, I've already set my goals for this year. Is the program going to be useful for me? Yes. The chances are, unfortunately, that you will not achieve your current goals. Maybe you will, but you will certainly benefit from the program. Is this program right for me? Well, let me tell you who this program is for. Apart from you, it's for anyone who wants to achieve more success in their life. Typically, people who get the most from this program are considering a career change, or they've just had a lousy performance review, or they're considering quitting their job, for example. They may be facing what we often call the midlife crisis. It doesn't mean you only get this in midlife, unfortunately, but it's a time when you know something is not quite right and you want to achieve more. Will it work on my iPad? The platform has been technically tested on all modern platforms and even the iPad 1. It will work on your smartphone, but you'll need fabulous eyesight. We've actually designed it for tablets and in landscape mode. Part of this beta rollout is also to make sure that it's working properly on every platform, or at least every platform in common use. Ideally, use an iPad, an Android tablet, or a PC, or a Mac. What's the catch with free? There is no monetary cost for using the program, except, of course, you've got to pay for your data and internet connection. I am not charging you anything. During this beta phase, your cost is to give us feedback regularly on the use of the system, the content, and let us know of any bugs or any misspellings. Can we look at the system right now? Well, I've deliberately not included a screencast of the platform here. I'll show you a very brief one here if I can find the right. Okay. Yeah, you should be able to see 2 screens. This is actually a live web app screen version of the GAPS 5 system. This all sits on the GAPS 5 system. You can see that we've got the dashboard here. This will be to log in and register. the tutorials that you have access to. And then you go into those, and this, for example, is the same map that you've seen during this webinar. So if we're starting, we just click on the start. You fill in the details in here, in this case your email and name, if it hasn't automatically come through. The videos within, you just click and play and they work. And then you'd be going to another page. Now this is not very clear at the moment because the window is actually a very small window, but you'll see the video plays here. This is just a placeholder video example, and in this case you can choose, this is the coaching game pictures that we make available to you to use to help you through the program, and you can quickly switch back to any of the other tutorials and go through some of the others, anything that you have access to. If these are grayed out, then you don't have access. Some of these are paid for programs. Leadership Advantage, Coaching Advantage and Finance Advantage are all paid for programs, so you're very welcome to sign up for those once they're on stream and available to you. Hopefully that gives you an idea. Let me transfer back. There isn't a full-blown demonstration of the system at the moment, except for those people who are technically gifted, who are currently helping us out, checking everything's working, the alignment, the layout, and so on, particularly for different size screens. If you are technically minded and like doing this sort of thing, please drop me an email and I'll happily involve you in the very early beta test that is going on. It's really an alpha test, and welcome your feedback on the system itself. Now that looks pretty well like all of the questions at the moment for this. Let me just have a last look at the questions here and see if we can. No, it's okay. Marvelous. So if you haven't managed to sign in yet, do sign in. Sign up now, and you will have this available to you as soon as we're ready to launch. It will be before the 14th for many individuals, but we're going to roll this out relatively slowly and make sure the system works nicely and you all get looked after. I can see there have been a few technical problems on this webinar. My apologies for that. I will make sure that we fix whatever the issue is and make sure that you get this as a replay. Thanks very much for joining me, and enjoy a blessed rest of your day. Bye-bye.